Do you notice this too? Some people count down for weeks to their birthday until the big party arrives. Others let it pass quietly, as if it were just an ordinary weekday. On one side, confetti, happy birthday choruses, and a phone lighting up with messages. On the other, silence. No cake, no fuss, not even a hint. What's behind that? Indifference, modesty, or something deeper tied to our past, our daily stress, our self-image. Stick with me. Let's look closer. What you discover might cast not only your friends, but also yourself in a new light. Let's start where most people end up. The pace of everyday life. Deadlines, family obligations, appointments, errands, maybe studies too. The pace turns into a hamster wheel. The birthday arrives quietly and is half over before a single thought finds space. They haven't forgotten it. The modern world makes it invisible. Under chronic stress, the body flips into survival mode. Adrenaline and cortisol narrow our focus to the immediate. Planning and anticipation slip to the back. The rule becomes, get the next thing done. Simply put, under constant load, the celebration mode switches off. A Wednesday stays a Wednesday. Even if it's your birthday, it feels like just another item on the list. The day isn't actively ignored. It's swept away by the flood of obligations. And then, there are people who don't lose the day. They consciously choose it. They know exactly when they were born. They just don't need a stage for it. No posts, no show, and it still feels right. An evening walk. A book that's been waiting too long. Phone off. A no to appointments. No explanation. Behind it isn't sadness or stress, but a steady inner compass. Psychologists point to self-determination theory. True well-being grows from autonomy, a sense of competence, and interconnectedness, not from likes, gifts, or public attention. Outwardly, it may look quiet. What it really says is, I don't need candles and cake to confirm my worth. I know my worth. For a particular group, not celebrating comes from a painful story. They don't celebrate because they haven't felt celebrated. Picture yourself as a child, and no one really remembers your birthday. Friends forget. Family is too busy. Maybe you even planned something once, but almost no one showed up. Not just one disappointment, but many small stings over years. That leaves a mark. And at some point, hope learns to speak more quietly. You lower expectations, out of care for yourself. The birthday slips from a special date into a neutral one. A day to avoid risks so nothing hurts. This usually isn't conscious. It's an automatic self-protection. Psychologists call it learned helplessness, a defensive move that helps prevent more pain. There's another group we see more and more, the intentionals. For them, choosing not to celebrate is a deliberate step away from consumer hype and social pressure. They're not rejecting joy. They're rejecting expectation and commercialization. Their motto might be, why cram my appreciation for life into a single day? Instead, they practice small gratitude rituals, or they celebrate unbirthdays in a tiny circle. When it feels right, not because the calendar says so. It's a philosophical choice for authenticity and against the mainstream. And some go one step further, the Pragmatic Realists. Often overlooked, but for them it's simple. A birthday is just a calendar date, a social ritual without inherent meaning. Their inner monologue goes,
I'm me on all 365 days. Why should the day of my birth be special? I've grown on all the other days too.
They follow a strictly logical agenda. They don't celebrate because the basic premise feels irrational to them. It's a matter of consistency.
Do you celebrate the day your first passport was issued?
The answer is no. And that's how the birthday hype strikes them. This isn't a lack of feeling, it's a sober worldview. Let's not forget those for whom a birthday feels like a spotlight that burns too brightly. Not because they don't like others, but because being the center of attention drains energy. Every gesture feels watched. Every word sounds louder than intended. They may come across as calm, sometimes reserved. They prefer the edges of the room and one-to-one over crowds. That's not a lack of feeling, but introversion in action. Stimuli are processed more deeply. The inner life is vivid, just not on stage. For them, a normal day often fits better than a big gathering. No countdown, no show, just a quiet presence that feels real. Finally, the one we affectionately call the birthday Grinch. At first glance, it looks like plain grumpiness, pushing back against silly songs, cheesy cards, forced cheer. But underneath, there's often something deeper, the unstoppable march of time. Each candle doesn't feel like more life, but like a marker on a road with an ending. Round numbers flash like mileposts that ask for a reckoning. What came of it? What remains? Some meet that feeling with humor as armor, irony before anyone else can joke. Others keep the day flat. No surprise visits, no sing-along, better to work as usual or move the birthday to the day before. After, so it feels less harsh. It isn't a lack of joy or dislike of people. It's a defense against a ritual that paints transience in neon. In research, this links to terror management theory. When our finiteness becomes salient, we soften the discomfort with symbols, stories, distraction. The Grinch rejects that blanket. That refusal isn't a flaw. It's a personal act of self-assertion, a quiet no to the pressure to stage getting older as something we must cheer. And now the interesting part. Do you see yourself in one of these groups? Take a moment and ask, does protective withdrawal fit me? Am I one of the driven? Do I feel emotionally self-reliant? Or am I making an intentional, maybe even pragmatic choice? It's normal to recognize yourself in more than one. The edges are fluid, and that's okay. This attitude toward birthdays is often a microcosm of your life philosophy. People who treat their birthday like a normal day often don't need applause elsewhere either. They find contentment in quiet, in the depth of relationships, and in their inner world. Does that mean they're emotionless? Of course not. It may mean they've learned to see the special in the everyday, rather than living a whole year for a single date. None of this is set in stone. If you recognize protective withdrawal, you might, someday, take small, safe steps. If you're among the driven, you can block out an hour on purpose. It's not about forcing a party. It's about deciding the meaning of the day in a way that fits you. In the end, it matters less whether you go big or stay quiet. Both tell the story about your history, your priorities, and your inner steadiness. The better question is, do you recognize yourself? And are you content with what your choice says about you? If this peek behind our birthday habits grabbed you, check out our other videos where we unpack everyday psychology. Your turn. Which group sounds most like you? Drop it in the comments. I'm reading. Subscribe for more like this, and thanks for your time. Party or no party, you decide what the day means and what truly feels good for you.